Thank you, Mark. Thank you, guys. Well, first of all, for me, it's an honor to be here in Lafayette College. And I say college, not university, like Tom Hanks said before when he came. My son threatened me, you know, and he would never talk to me if I made that mistake. So, and tell you a little bit how I landed here. When I was invited by Professor Crane, you know, to come and share a little bit of our experience with you, I truly spent the first 10 minutes trying to convince him why I was the wrong guy to come and talk to you guys. You know, I am probably the least educated person in this room. Last time I went to school was on 8th grade. So coming over here for me, it's surreal, and seeing my son, you know, choosing Lafayette College to mold his future, it gives me a great sense of pride. So if I can help you guys bring some light in whoever is interested, you know, in what we do in entertainment and how the business is changing, and in great part, you guys are to blame. You guys completely disrupted the business, decided to consume entertainment in different platforms than our grandparents and our parents didn't, which was the big TV sets and appointment television and all of that. And all of that has changed, and today it's a much different world than when Sophia and I, in 1995, decided to open Latin World Entertainment. And I'll tell you a little bit how Latin World got to where it is today. Latin World was born out of necessity, you know. In the United States, if you wanted to reach Hispanics through media, there was really one player alone. Some of you may know Univision. It's the dominant player on Hispanic entertainment in the United States. And back then, they had 97% market share. What does that mean? When you have 97% market share, you are a monopoly. And it doesn't matter, you know, what the other people are doing, you have the bulk of the audience. When you're a monopoly, it puts you in a very powerful position if you own the monopoly. It's a messed up position if you're not. So really, we had to create a business out of an opportunity that was given to us where we could not ask for raises, we could not ask for more money or a fair share of our value. So our entrepreneurial drive kicked in then. And then we understood that, look, in order to reach the audience, we need to be with them. But in order for us to make money and pay our mortgage, we need to figure out what we can sell to that audience that does not go through television. In our case, was the Sofia Vergara 1998 calendar. We got a photographer buddy of us, bought her very skimpy little bikinis, went to the beach, shot some pictures, you know, and then had to convince a printer to print it for us and get paid once we would get paid from the distributor. Well, that's the first time we struck gold, and we sold over 1 million calendars here in the United States at $12.50 in a deal that we were 50-50 with our distributors. So we were literally making $6.25 per calendar sold. That's where we understood that it's not so much how much your network is paying you, but what you do with that audience. Immediately after that, her and I started devising plans to say, okay, what else can we build that we can sell in a good, honest way. The company was getting ready to take off, and I wanted to expand our management division. That resulted in me signing the head of sports at Univision. We showed up. We asked a meeting with the president of the company, and I told him that I wanted to negotiate his contract, and he was kicking ass, and he was the best, blah, 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 you know. And we were both escorted out of the building. That's what happens when you deal with monopolies. You know, they did not appreciate the fact that an artist brought a representative to negotiate a contract, or even less, to bring a lawyer to look at it, you know. So The company started in a really bad place. We just got fired our first client, and we needed to figure out how to fix this. So monopolies only understand one thing. They understand power. They don't understand you being nice. They don't understand you being proactive or you wanted to bring them more business. So what did I do? I camped out at the parking lot on Univision the next morning at 6 in the morning, and I started signing every talent that came into the network, to do the morning shows, to do the news, to do sports, entertainment, etc. By the end of the day, and again, this is mid-1990s, the representation business for television talent in the United States practically did not exist. We were the first ones who started doing it. By the end of that day, we represented everybody. I showed up at the office of the president again, uninvited, and I told him that, well, now you're going to have to fire the whole network because I represent everybody. And that's how our company was born. We were able to muscle in a monopoly into sitting down and negotiating with us. Obviously, Univision sued me and Sofia Vergara, and it became a very big mess for us at that point. They were going to bully us into submission. They were going to throw their 200 lawyers on top of us. And we went to one of my wife's uncles and asked for advice. Said, okay, we're getting sued by this monster, and there is nothing we can do, and we don't have the money to fight these people. And they offer us to make a phone call. Their law firm was called White & Case. White & Case is one of the biggest litigator firms in the United States. Well, to make a long story short, Univision pissed off these lawyers so much that the lawyer called me right away and said, pro bono, we're going after these assholes. Sorry for using that word. Guess what? We won, and we renegotiated all the talent's contract in one month. Everybody, people were doing $80,000, suddenly were making $800,000, a year. And that was the first time that we got confident and cocky enough to face monopolies and face power. Now, why do I tell you this story? Because for us in the Latin world, even though we have the struggles in South America on the entertainment side, then either you're dealing with monopolies or duopolies, really we have it easy because you guys in the general market here dealt with this in the 30s. So pretty much you guys drew the blueprint for us, to follow. And I still do that today in many of the industries that we come in. We see how it performs first in the United States, we see it mature, then we're able to duplicate these deals and do them in Spanish. I will deviate a little bit from how the company was born to give you an example. For instance, some of you know the application CNET. CNET is an app where you check new technologies that come out, and it helps you make a decision, what phone you want to buy, what computer, or what television set. We went to CBS, we said, hey, we want to transcreate everything that you have content-wise in CNET in Spanish, and would like to launch it to Hispanic audiences. Today, CNET en Español is the #1 technology site in the world in Spanish, and it reached that goal within 90 days. So what do? We put our influencers to push a product, and the product gets into your ears or eyes, and then it helps for that product to grow. Now, I go back to the beginning of the company so you guys see how all of this makes sense together. Once we solidify our management division, we now represented practically everybody. You want to talk about sports? We have the face of sports. You want to talk about entertainment? We have. You want a telenovela? I got the biggest crier of them all, So you tell me what you want, we're there. And then we knew that it was tough to get money or to get ownership from the content that our talents were starting, with these monopolies. They gave us a big raise, but they were never going to let us own anything. So here in the United States, you create a show, your Seinfeld, you own that show. Once that show goes into repetition, you get paid for those repetitions. To give you an idea, how many of you know how much money did Seinfeld made with Seinfeld the show? Him personally for creating the show. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $600 million. So it tells you the value that content has, especially when you have a hit. So obviously these things we did not have in Spanish. So we needed to really learn how to make money in other areas. So we created our endorsement division. And what we did was we went to Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, L'Oreal, any company that you would think that was interested in the Hispanic market, and we told them that, hey, we understand this market. We would like to help you make smart, educated decisions whenever you're looking for a face for your products into break into our market. Up to that point, what all these companies did was they shot their TV commercials in English, dubbed them into Spanish, and there we go. We got their Spanish version, of the commercial. And obviously, most of the time it missed the messaging. It did not hit you in the heart, so really it was not working to its potential. Once we started matching them with the top celebrities and top actors and presenters in Spanish, we have cases like AT&T. AT&T, when they hired us, they had 3 million subscribers. After we finished with them, they were up to 7 million subscribers. And we saw the power that the US Hispanic audience and market brought to any company. If you were in business in the United States and you were not talking to Latinos, you were not exploiting the top possibilities of your business, and you were leaving lots of money and customers in the table. So we quickly hired some marketing brains, put them in front of that company, and today, and for the last 14 years, 82% of all endorsement deals done in Spanish in the United States are done by us. It doesn't matter if it's a client or not a client. Companies come and ask us to vent out who are the right Latinos for their campaigns. And obviously then we went to Latin America. So now Latin World, that you guys saw, that was born into a management company, it was a management and an endorsement company. So, while most people would be very comfortable and enjoy, for us was the beginning. Now we got greedy. Now we're making money, on endorsements, and we're making a little bit of money in television. What else can we do? Hey, how about producing our own content? Now we know the brands, we have the talent, let's start doing that. So that's how our production division started. And that division was very quickly, we were able to poach my wife from Univision to come and run our production division in Latin World. She had been Univision's top producer for the last 10 years. And if you watch the year that my wife joined us, from the top 10 highest rated shows in Spanish in the United States, my wife had produced 6 of them. So she was kind of like the right person for the job. And she was pregnant with my second child, so she better, get the position. And that's how Melissa comes to our company, and the division is born. The division then produced, and landed a big deal with 20th Century Fox. Before that, we were at Electus and with the Walt Disney Company, and we started producing pilots, and today we're still producing. Almost 4 years ago, that our production company was up and running. We were doing things in Spanish. We're specializing in particular to buy American formats that had proven and worked very well, and transcreating them with whole new cast into Spanish. So we bought Desperate Housewives. We went and we did it in Argentina. And then we bought Golden Girls. We went and we did it in Spain. And then we signed Sophia to this little pilot that was called My American Family. By the way, it was at that point, we had already done 4 failing pilots. What does that mean? That every bad show out there, I would select it and I would put Sophia in it, and they would get canceled 11 shows down the line. So we were quite missing it, and not hitting, not understanding how our positioning was, how our humor was. And Sophia was doing a very hard job trying to eliminate her accent. She did very poorly there. And that's where we decided, you know what, let's make our weakness into our strength and actually forget about getting rid of the accent. Let's go full-blown Latina with the thickest accent that you can generate. If you talk to Sophia, the first thing that it shocks is, oh my God, she actually speaks English. It's not so much what you hear on Modern Family. So once we landed Modern Family, we got the attention of Hollywood, and we decided to stop buying American formats and turn them into Hispanic shows, and actually start identifying good Hispanic storytellers and turning them into American shows. And that's how Killer Woman was born at ABC. By the way, we got canceled too after 1 season, and that's kind of like the story of our company. For us, everything comes to fruition. Fruition, is that how you say it? But my God, does God make it hard, because it makes us fall 2, 3, 4 times before we hit it. But when we hit it out of the park. And usually it's because we already come a little bit smarter after all the failures. So after we launch and have until today the production company, operating, something kept bothering me. I'm telling you all of this so you guys follow the entrepreneurial activity that we took as a company to land us into this place. Something kept bothering me, and I would hear the praises from the AT&T executives telling us, you don't understand, you got us 4 million subscribers. And in my mind, it's like, these guys just made a few $1 billion, and they paid me $2 million. So, and I had to pay talent from those $2 million. So we are being screwed. We really are leaving all the money in the table. And that's how our licensing company is born. We go and we say, okay, you know what? We need to figure out what to sell that we own, because we have proven that we understand how to talk to the audiences. We have proven that we know what the audience's desires are, and we've been delivering over and over again. Why don't we just do that for ourselves instead of doing it for CoverGirl, Maybelline, or T-Mobile? So we did our first, we opened Latin Wheel Licensing, and we did our first deal with Kmart. Why Kmart? First of all, Kmart was in trouble. I saw an opportunity there. Second of all, Kmart was very popular. It had 1,300 stores in America, and the average sell item that they had was somewhere in the neighborhood of $27. I mean, T-shirts, shirts, shoes, whatever, that was like their soft spot. And we brought Sophia there. We created the Sofia Vergara line, and that turned into a $100 million company within the first 18 months. We then went from 100 million to $125 million. What happened? Kmart started using us to drive people in, and then would put my competitors at half the price right next to my racks so they can get rid of their stuff. And we felt that we put too much work into that brand and into that company to be taken advantage of again. Remember that we're already coming traumatized from those monopolies. So that's where we start coning the business. data mining and understanding who our audience was, where they were, how much money they were making. And we saw, and when we crossed that with our sales in Kmart, we discovered that number one, our audience was shopping online more than going to a store. My customer was spending 38% more dollars in each purchase than their average customer. So we saw that, okay, you know what, we missed our target. We went too popular, we went too low. Our fans actually want things that are a little bit more expensive. You know, they want a shirt that it's $70, not $20. And we quickly let that contract run out. It was a very labor-intensive contract. We had around 21 service days per year. And at the end of the day, the way I see the business is, okay, in order for Sophia to make her fees, how many days she needs to invest of her time. And, you know, more or less, I calculate that unless it's $635,000 per day, it's cheaper for me to leave Sophia at home than to bring her out. So unless we can do deals where each day that she goes out and works, she generates $635,000 for us, is a bad business to do those. So then we went and we started playing with the fragrance, and we launched the Sofia Vergara fragrance. Big business, not what we still wanted, bigger than clothing, and half of the investment time. Then we went to jewelry, okay, business too, bigger than clothing, you know. But then we hit it big with two items. One was the Sofia Vergara Ninja coffee maker. Today we have the #1 coffee machine selling in America at $179 per pot. And if you guys turn on the TVs, you're gonna see a lot of those infomercials running out there. And we came up with the Sofia Vergara furniture, which is the highest growth furniture line in retail in America right now. With our average room sells for $2,400, which is a great price if you want. Well, you guys are too young to buy furniture and decorate your apartments, but believe me, you're around the corner to doing that. And you're gonna have to spend money, and you see how convenient $2,400 a room sounds like. So, and that's what it is today, our licensing business, and we have licenses with Walmart, with Other Talent, you know, with many, many, many companies. And all of that drives me to what Latin world is today and its survival against, you know, the companies that did not saw us as disruptors, but actually saw us as a pain in the butt than we were, you know, that came in to change the business and how you do business in Spanish. Now, the whole entertainment industry changed after social media came to the scene. How did that change? Well, before your time, in order for a talent to reach their audience, we always needed a middleman. What was that middleman? It was either a television network that had the antennas to connect us with our viewers. It was a radio network that had the antennas to connect us with our listeners. Or it was a publishing company that had the magazines that our fans and audience was reading. So you end up always working for peanuts, because the middleman, the person that had the keys to the gate, to the door for you to reach your audience, was keeping over 90% of the dollars that was connected, was charging. Let me explain. How does television work? There is an advertiser with a lot of money that needs to sell a lot of product. They go to a TV network and they say, hey, I want to invest in one of your top shows, you know, that reaches this segment of the audience that are buying my product. Then the television network gets their money, and with that money, they hire producers and talent to create these shows that are gonna go to them. So what happens in that world, a Modern Family, it's a good example. I gave you one side of the scope, which was Seinfeld, where there is a talent that writes, that gets to own their show, and finds a hit and makes all this money. But 99% of the time, it's usually an ensemble show, it's usually more people, so you don't get one single talent that gets to get all the money. So in Modern Family, for instance, it's 6 talents, the main characters, the adult characters of the show, and everybody gets paid equally. And that was something that we strategized, so there were never issues with the talent fighting over money. And why are you going to make more money than me if I have more scenes than you? So the best way to put it, everybody makes the same. And that way it's us, a group, against the network, and in a unified front. So what happens? In today's world, and this is where the opportunities are because it's changing, the middle person, the guy in the middle, really keeps all the money just by connecting you, the talent, with a writer, with a producer, and a brand that is willing to pay for your show, right? In social media, and when YouTube showed up in the scene, and now all these other vehicles, suddenly we had the ability to go and talk to a Procter & Gamble and create a show that we would own, and we would distribute, through YouTube, reach the audience without having anybody in the middle taking 90% of our dollars. So the industry is changing and will keep changing in the next few years tremendously. And you guys are very lucky that are living in this era where literally people are turning into billionaires by coming out with the right ideas in this new world. People my age are not coming out with those ideas. I tell you that. So what happens? Now, it's a much fair environment to work. And now it's a much fair place for talent and creators and brands to interact, together, and talking and reaching their audiences in big numbers. So the way you see a TV market today, it will be a completely different world in 3 years from now. And we saw this happen 15 years ago with the record industry. The record industry, the TV guys, we were the poor guys. The rich guys were the record label guys. Those guys had it really, really tight. What they did is, and this is all beyond, it makes me feel old, what Mark would remember. Before you guys were downloading music, we had to buy CDs. And before that, cassettes. And a CD, the price was $16 per CD. Well, explain to me how the hell the record company did an accounting where from the $16, only 60 cents would go to the artist. The best paid artist in a record deal was Michael Jackson with $1 per album. What does that mean? Then for every album and the millions of albums that he sold, he would make $1, the record company would make 15. What were they? They were the delivery vehicle. They were the middleman again. They were the guys putting the records in the stores. Once, downloadables came, downloadable files broke into the picture, then record companies, what happened? They're meaningless today. Today, you go talk to any record executive and he will ask you for money within 30 minutes of your meeting, no matter what you're meeting for, And who became the big dogs in that business? It was the promoters. Then the people that were at the bottom of the food chain, nobody liked them. Usually they were like street people, very local. They knew the market. They knew how to get people into the arena, And those guys got together. And today, they're called Live Nation. I don't know if you guys have heard of that name, but it's the largest concert company in the world. These guys own Ticketmaster. They own the Coldplay tour, the Madonna tour. Pretty much, if you are a hot talent, you are most likely with them. So if we take those lessons that we learned from the music industry and apply them to today to a TV world, you will see how fast and dynamically this world is changing and how fortunes are being made overnight. Us, as a company, we were just in the representation business. But like we said at the beginning, we suddenly overnight, we checked who is our talent talking to, how many followers they have, and we discovered that we had 375 million subscribers. That discovery happened like 2 years ago, and no, this cannot happen. So overnight, without looking for it, we became a media company. And now, while before we used to go to TV networks, radio stations, and magazines to, hey, help me promote this product or this show or this new talent, now it's happening the other way around. Now TV shows, movie studios, and products come to us and say, hey, can you have your influencers push this product? And can you have your influencers talk about this? And they can track that to literal sales. So in this new world, where are the opportunities? What is happening and where are we going to? The way we see it in our company is we understood now that we're a media company. So we're acting more as a media company. We are bringing all of our talent together into one single platform where we can go to advertisers and just say, hey, you know, the #1 show in America, 17 million viewers, you know, we can bring you 375 million audience, not only in America, but across the world. Tell me what you want. You want kids 18 to 22, males in La Patagonia, or do you want them in Vegas, or where, you know, pretty much when you start data mining, you know, it's very easy to block and sell those packages. Number 2, most of you are watching your favorite shows. For your generation, appointment television is meaningless. For our generation, it was all about that. I mean, how can I explain to you? We, like Mark was saying, you know, we would sit down, make the lines on TV Guide of the shows that we wanted to do, and at 8 p.m. on Sunday, we had to be in front of the TV to watch it. There was no way to rewind. There was no way. So you had to watch the show when it aired, or you would miss it. And then you would have to wait a couple of years to be able to buy the VHS, remember? So now we get to binge. Now we get to watch the whole season of House of Cards in a weekend, you know, or Game of Thrones, or any show that we want. So as we are using these smart devices, you know, to get our entertainment, and our TV set is only getting smarter. Our TV set is literally gonna be an iPhone on steroids, you know, where now you're gonna be able to program it the way you want it. For instance, the difference, before, the same way a record company will make you buy 14 songs when you only like one, cable companies are making you pay for 350 channels when you only watch 7. And the way we see the future is you're gonna be able to design your own shows or your own programming that you want to watch, but technology is getting us even closer to become e-tailers. What is an e-tailer? It's a retailer online. And we believe that many of you guys are fans. Some of you are fans of artists, others of politicians, others of athletes, and we like to wear those Air Jordans, or we like to, you know, buy Lacoste or any brand out there that we see the people that we admire wearing. So we are building right now a platform where you're going to be able to pause content, double click on the screen, see the tags, be able to buy that shirt that Sophia was wearing in Modern Family, and keep watching your programming without us manufacturing, without us fulfilling, or without us storaging anything. It's all about affiliate fees and redirecting traffic through partnerships in order to get the best deals for our customers. So right now, when we go talk to Walmart and we say, hey, we want to drive traffic to walmart.com and push these Levi's that you have at $29.99. I represent now 375 million customers. I need those Levi's to be cheaper for my audience than for anybody else. So these are the new ways that talent are making money in our business. It's less and less endorsements, more and more licensing and affiliate fees. You know, it's a lot less riskier as an investment. It's a lot more profitable. And what else can I tell you about what's going on? Well, I guess what I wanted to land to is you guys are going to learn a lot here, and you guys are going to learn everything that you're interested or your curiosity takes you. If I can give you an advice, is use that to be disruptive. Use that to come in and don't be afraid to check under the hood. You know, look at the guys at Uber. They came out without owning a car. They're the biggest transportation company in the world today. You know, worth, what is it, $16 billion? They don't own a single car. You got the old way of doing business is you had to secure financing, buy a bunch of limousines, service them, hire the drivers, give them benefits. It was crazy. These guys, you know, figure out how to disrupt and create a whole new way of doing business that is much more profitable for all. Look at the guys from Airbnb. They don't own one single apartment, yet they are the largest renter of real estate and apartments in the world. And you're gonna see more and more as you look in depth into the standard businesses that we the parents are giving to you. They're not perfect. They're nowhere near to be perfect. You guys can do them much better in a much efficient and productive way. So get aggressive, be a pain in the butt, ask a lot of questions, and get into things that are none of your business, and figure out, you know, how to do things differently. In our case, in our company, that's what worked for us. If people would tell me go right, I would go left. You know, if people would tell me no, it's not down, it's up, I would go down. You know, and always trying to fulfill that curiosity and see, can I do this better than they were doing it before? And we're nowhere near where our goals are, but way further than what we set out to become. Does that make sense? You know, we wanted to be the top management company in the United States Hispanic. Today, we've grown to be the largest Hispanic company in the world for management of talent. And we have the dreams of becoming the largest producer of content in the world in Spanish and some of the biggest retailers. And the good thing is that the technology today gives us that. And the technology is being created by kids at school. It's not being created by the top executives, you know, gray salt and pepper hair at Madison Avenue. It's you guys. So, I don't know. I don't have much more to talk about. Yeah. Well, life is not perfect, and stereotypes are stereotypes. They're there. People are telling you, oh, no, we don't want to fall into that. But truly, if you want in, most likely, look at Sophia. Sophia, we didn't want to fall into the stereotype of being the prostitute or the drug dealer, or those roles that you many times saw Latinos portraying. We wanted Sofia to be a successful wife than love her husband and her family, and we were able to find that job, and that's not very easy. But my point is that you get the opportunity and you turn it into something that works for you. Now, again, repeat the difference between Hispanic content and?
So the first question was, how does the process differ from bringing English language content and introducing that to the Spanish language market from doing like the reverse, bringing Spanish language content?
Okay, look, most of the time, when you have a hit show, it has the capability to be a hit show across the globe. People love that story. I guarantee you that the French enjoy Game of Thrones in French as much as we enjoy it in English. So it was, for us, easier, or it was safer to go and buy a property that was proven and that showed that it worked and that it specifically helped with this segment of the market. So for instance, what did we do with Desperate Housewives? In Colombia, RCN was losing the fight against Caracol. That's an organized duopoly, because all the women were were watching Caracol novelas. So when the owners of RCN asked us for a solution, we told them, okay, let's bring Desperate Housewives. We're gonna have Sofia Vergara executive produce and be one of the girls, and we're gonna hire this talent to come in, and fix this with an American proven format. By the episode 3, they were number 1 in that time slot already. So it is easier to bring an American format than it has been proven and brought to Latin America. It is much harder to bring a Hispanic format and sell it to an American executive at one of these companies. First of all, why is it hard? It's a different language. They don't understand. They watch the show. They don't know if it's good, if the writing is bad. So the only way we can convince them is by data mining and showing numbers. So we would go and present to them, look, this show performed like this in Argentina and was able to create this type of numbers, hitting this type of the population. So it becomes almost like a mathematical sell. It has zero to do with what's the story like, And then they say, okay, you know what? I like it, I buy it. And then the fight really starts with the network, and that was our fight with Killer Women. Killer Women was the most successful format in Spanish history, I think, in the last 30 years. We took it to ABC and Disney, and we co-produced it with them. They changed the format. They wanted to Americanize the format, and they killed it. So now we're learning how to import shows here, Americanize them so they are relevant to Middle America, not just New York, LA, Miami, Chicago. And then how do we make them relevant here so we can really have the same success that we've had? And you've seen some of those. Ugly Betty, it's a Colombian format. That was a format that became, at that time, the #1 format in the world. Ugly Betty India was the #1 show in India. Ugly Betty China became the #1 show in China. And Ugly Betty in the United States became the #1 sitcom here in the United States. So a good idea is a good idea. It really doesn't have a nationality. But executives do have nationalities, and those are the guys, the human factor is what makes it difficult. Hopefully I
How did you make the decision to use to brand
Furniture.
What went into that?
Very, very easy. We saw, once we started data mining and all of this information took out kind of like the intuition that we used to have into going into deals. So I saw that a big chunk of the Modern Family audience were women 27 to 35. So what are these women doing? They're most of the time they're putting together their first household. And they need furniture. They're having babies, they're getting married. And for us, it was, okay, guess what? Women like Sophia. Sophia is one of the girls. Let's see what is Sophia's idea of how a house should look like and your decoration tips. We started testing them by tweeting and by putting them in our Facebook and seeing the reaction of the crowd, of the audience. Once we saw that it was extremely positive, I looked for the #1 manufacturer of furniture in America. And I told him, good news, I'm gonna sell a lot of furniture for you. These are my numbers. This is Sophia. You know Sophia? His wife was her #1 fan. So we got the wife, she got the husband to sign the deal, and now we're all out celebrating. That's how the furniture line was born.
And this new technology you were talking about, so you could be watching Modern Family, you might see a bedroom set there, and you can click on that,
Yes, and
buy it right there.
buy it right there, and then keep watching. And look, technology is gonna get a lot of fun. And you guys, many of you, hopefully, are involved into development these type of products, you know. But there is an app out there that I would encourage you guys to download. It's called Houzz, Houzz. Houzz is an application for decorators. That's how it started. And it's really like a book with 1,000,000 pictures of bedrooms and living rooms and kitchen for you as a decorator to get ideas. But as you're swiping through Houzz, you can stop in one image, click it twice, and suddenly all the tags come out. And now you can see where you can buy that product, what is the product, how much, order it, and keep shopping. That is the closest that we've seen in technology of what's going on with right now with video. Another big, look, I'm involved right now with the Israeli military. What does entertainment and the Israeli military have to do? Well, those guys are amazing. First of all, they hacked the hell out of the Iranian nuclear plant and destroyed it. That was through hacking. But second of all, they have 90% accuracy in facial recognition cameras, software, than they use in their borders, than they use in their airports, than they use in shopping centers to identify possible threats. We went to this company and we gave them a challenge. And I said, okay, you're great at recognizing faces. Can you recognize products and clothing? Why? Because we are envisioning that a big, powerful shopping app is going to be when you see somebody walking by and you point your cell phone and say, I want that shirt with that pocket, you know, and I want that exactly one. And boom, it brings you up where you can get it, and it gives you 5 different options. You know what? Dolce & Gabbana does it for $300, and Walmart does it for $5. But that one you can find in Banana Republic for $35. So, you know, all of these technologies are coming and are gonna make much easier the way we shop, the way we share, and the way, you know, we operate our stores. You know, for me, an influencer is anybody that gets their friends, or in my business, their followers, to do what they're saying, you know, or what you all know the guy that dresses well, or the girl that dresses well. You all know them, and sometimes, you know, you want to have access to those shirts or those pants, or then you just don't know where to get them because we're not all fashionably correct or oriented, you know. So if these guys can share those information with you, and you guys can buy those products from their Facebook page, now they become a retailer and you become a customer, you know. So we all can sell and we all can make money in our spare time in different ways. You know, I'm talking to you about the retail industry, but there are many, many ways. Right now, You know, another thing that we're testing is we're going into startup companies, and we say, okay, the biggest problem that a startup has is that once they have a developed product, they need to reach and test. Well, we have 375 million subscribers. So where do you want to test? Why don't we run a couple of tests in Uruguay? If it works there, then we take them to Argentina. If it works there, then we bring them to the United States. You know, so a lot of this is happening, and we are running into some very, very cool technologies of even things that have been invented before. For instance, all of you guys know dating apps, right? And even though they're embarrassing, yeah, many of you probably have seen them, or the eHarmonies of the world, Tinder, etc. This company brought us a dating app that it's not actually for you who's looking for a date. It's for your mom to find you the boyfriend or to find you the girlfriend. So who has time to surf through a dating app for 4 hours? Mom, you know. And then she's the one hooking you up for you to go on a date, you know. It's clever ideas. You know, they did not invent the algorithm for the dating apps. They did not invent anything, but they're applying those technologies to clever ideas, you know. And those guys are getting funded, you know. It's a much better world than you guys are inheriting, I think, from us. And don't believe the hype that you hear in these elections, you know, with everything craziness that we're coming to the end. You know, I personally feel this is the safest humanity has been, you know. Even though we are shocked when we see graphic images on television, really, hey, the Crusades, how many million people died there, you know, Second World War, First World War, those are all horrible, you know, we come from dark places. We have a lot to do much better and to get along, all of us, you know, and yeah, to get along and live in peace. My point is that don't believe the hype. You know, this is a great time. We're having, you know, the best time in humanity. And Jesus, right now, we have the ability where anybody with a good idea and a little knowledge of technology can change and disrupt the hell out of any business out there. And you guys are starting with a clean slate, you know. Go out there and kill it. Oh, Joe wants also. Catherine and Joe.
On behalf of our class, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come talk to us.
Oh,
So we got you a little
thank you very, very much. Thank you. That's very, very nice. Huh?
I think that this is for your wife too. So
Ah, okay. My wife gets one too. All right. Next time I come alone and I get 2 gifts. Yeah.